Good morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Teevee, and you're tuned in to the TV Marketing Show. It is 11 o'clock, and I'm having a rough day. Quick story. I took my daughter to the doctor for a checkup. And while I was there, I asked them to check my hearing or to clean my ears out. I've been having some issues, I thought. And they did, and they flushed it with water. Both ears. So what ended up happening is that now I have what amounts to water in both ears because they use water to try to flush out and clean. Um, and now both ears feel have water in them and feel as if basically what you feel like when you go to the pool and you have water in your ears, but in both ears, and it's really bothering me. It's making me a little dizzy, and so I don't know if I'm screaming right now. If I am, I'm looking at my monitor here, my microphone monitor, and it shows to be okay. So pardon me if I start screaming, or maybe I am not screaming, and I think I'm screaming because that's the way it feels in here. I just eaten an apple earlier, and it felt like the world was like collapsing in my ears. Anywho, we are here. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you listening to the podcast later, I appreciate you. Make sure to continue listening. And let's get started. Today, our episode. Where's my notes? Please hold. They were here. Let me move something. There you are. Bam. Our episode today is the trust episode. Why is this important? Trust. So everything that we've been talking about, and everything frankly related to marketing, is towards one goal, and that is to build trust. We want people to trust who we are, our values, what we believe in, what we stand for, which might all be related. We want people to trust us with their money, with their time, with their attention. It is the commodity. We're obviously trying to get their attention. We're trying to put them into an audience. These are two episodes, the last two episodes, topics that we talked about. But through the process of that, or the reason to do all these things is to create trust. So they know that whatever we're saying is true, it matters, and it impacts them as our consumers, our audience members. Um, as an example, Kim Kardashian last week, when I was talking about her and her effect, the phenomena that is her and her family, her followers, their followers trust that whatever she says is true, that their stories are true, that they're being sincere with their voice and they're being authentic. And thus, through the virtue of the massive audience that they have, when they recommend a product or a service, many of her followers believe her and thus go out and buy whatever product they may be peddling in that moment, or the company that they may be a part of right now. This is similar to Oprah back in the day. When anything that she recommended or had anybody had on the show, she almost automatically made somebody a bestseller just by merely mentioning the author and a new book on her show. And she had a book club, right? This is true for anything that she was doing. If she mentioned it, to me, she was the original uh, influencer of sorts that was massively making an impact. Anytime she mentioned something, people trusted that it was legitimate and true because if Oprah said it, we have to believe it to be true, right? Excuse me. So we have to cultivate trust. We're trying. That's what our goal is. Um, let's see. So the key. I'm going to walk you through a few things that keep in mind to be able to do this, and also to make sure that we're protecting. Ultimately, when we're getting trust, we need to protect that reputation that is thus giving us that credibility towards our people, for our people. So, steps towards creating and cultivating a good online reputation is basically what the focus of this episode will be. Say you've done a great job of creating your audience, you've done a great job of making sure you're consistent with your voice and that people find you trustworthy. Now, you need to make sure that the world knows that you are trustworthy, that you are consistent. And obviously, for me, the very first thing is, and I know it sounds foolish to even mention this, it might sound silly, and that is do good work. If you are selling a product or service, make sure that it is good, and that you're not ripping people off. You may get away with it for a while. People will get away with it, but after some time, people will start sharing, talking, and bad mouthing you if that is you. Hopefully, not my audience, my listeners. But if you're doing good work, if you're ripping people off, and if you're scamming people, or if you're not fulfilling on your promise, then people will talk. We talked about this in a previous episode. Or no, that's actually a video I recorded that I was, in which I talk about not advertising. Don't advertise unless you're ready to receive more people and also service them properly, take care of them, because people are going to trash you, and you will eventually have to close your business unless you have the capital to stay in business and keep it going, even though people are bad mouthing you, and your online reputation is trashed and nobody trusts you. But the key to do that and save you a lot of money and effort is just do good work. If you do good work, you are already ahead of the game. Everything else that I'm going to suggest you do to protect your brand and to ensure that you continue to have the trust that you need to grow, um, will be almost, it's just bonus, right? Do good work. Word of mouth still exists. I know I talk a lot about digital and the use and the benefits of it, but word of mouth, people still talk person to person, one to one. But ultimately, you will lose it. They will still talk and trash you one to one, and then on top of that, many people. Do good work, number one. Don't lie, cheat, or rip off people. You got that? I think we covered that. I've covered that well right now. So let's move on to pillar number one, of protecting your brand, and that is own your brand. Um, what does that mean? That means that when somebody searches for you on Google, pardon me, my lighting is seems to be a little off. Mm. Own your brand. So if somebody searches for you, they need to see basically everything you control. Everything that they see in the results, or at least more than half of it, depending on how long your brand has been around or your company has been around, you need to control it. All right, everything. Or let's be realistic. Depending on how long you've been around, maybe just half of it, but you need to control it. The top results should definitely be yours. People will look at the top two or three, four, five, and then move on, or pick one of those and to try to get the information about you. But you need to control everything, because if you don't, there's going to be too many opportunities for people to come in and say something negative about you, and all of a sudden you're trashed. Okay. Um, we'll talk a little bit about reviews here in a minute, but you want to make sure that if somebody writes an article about you or posts a video with your name or your brand in the headline, that video isn't automatically going to show up as the top result for your name and your brand, and they're trashing you. You will lose business almost instantly, because if it's one of the top two or three results, that's what we give the most credibility to. It's like, clearly Google thinks that you're not doing good work, and this video showed up. They're going to go click on it, and now you're screwed. Um, Own your brand. How are we going to do that? Well, number one, buy your domains. Buyyourname.com. So I own tvaguirre.com. Um, buy your brand name. Obviously, you probably already have a website. And try to buy any domains that are related to your brand. I would even give you bonus points if you buy your brand name plus reviews.com. So, for example, um, rockstarmarketingreviews.com, tvaguirrereviews.com. Own it. Put some content on there. Put a bio, maybe a video of you speaking to your services and what you offer. Say something as it relates to reviews, like, hey, if you're looking for reviews about me, here they are, or point them towards Yelp or whatever. And then maybe a link back to your regular website, your Facebook, whatever. But that is a kind of a strategic way to the get in front of anybody, maybe because they're going to look you up. People are going to look up TV reviews, TV Geezer reviews, or Rockstar Marketing reviews. They're going to do it. That's one of the simplest searches that people usually do to try to find out if they can trust you. um, so buy your domains. Number two, get every social media account plus the handle for it. Own those. Ideally, as hopefully it's already something unique and you can get now. But get, excuse me, I don't care how corny you think it is. Even TikTok is an example. Even Snapchat. Even if you think that it's useless and it's not for your brand, and maybe you don't post much content or any content, but you own that because somebody can grab that from you. So, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, those are the ones that come to mind. And any that pop up, go ahead and buy them. Or you don't have to buy them, just get them. Get them for your brand and control them because in the when you upset someone, angry people are much more motivated to leave bad reviews, number one. But really, really angry people, and worse yet, if you upset a marketer or an SEO person, I've known instances in which SEO guys and SEO marketers made it a point to trash individuals, like to the point where it's criminal, and made sure that they showed up, their name, nothing like some terrible stuff showed up. Um, and how much easier do you want to make it for them if you don't even own your own social media accounts with your brand associated? So do that, and in many cases, the social media accounts will show up for your brand, even though they may not even have much content because of the SEO value that those that YouTube might have. They'll show for as a top result for your brand. So own that. Okay. Next. Oh, so here's as a demo, as a real life demonstration. Feel free to Google the one of these three. I have three brands that I kind of predominantly am known for. The latest and the newest one that this one that I'm really pushing and nurturing moving forward into my career in the marketing sphere is Teevee the Marketer. I wanted to make it easy, attach marketing marketer to my name. So I started really pushing for that. My page is called Teevee the Marketer. My Instagram is Teevee the Marketer. So I made sure to change all my social media profiles to that. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, much like I suggested earlier. But search Teevee the Marketer, you're going to find, I think I own every one of those. Whether it's my website, whether it's YouTube, it's like my podcast, they are all mine. So in case something crazy comes around, well, I guess let me back up a little bit. Even when you do good work, no matter how hard you work, if you help enough people, you are inevitably going to upset someone, or it's just not going to work out. And some of them, one of those individuals may be motivated enough to trash you. You want to make sure you control your brand for that reason. It's not to say that you're bad people, it's just inevitable. So you want to make sure to control it. Okay. So that's basically the premise behind all this. You don't want people to start not trusting you just because you did a bad job of protecting your brand, and all of a sudden that one person goes out of their way and trashes you, and they can impact your business. You want to be able to absorb that impact for that time when someone does leave a bad review or just has a bad experience, a legitimate bad experience, and they just want to make sure that the world knows. Okay. So search my brand, Teevee the Marketer. Search my name, Teevee Aguirre, or search the older brand that I use and still post content to, which is Dallas Marketing Rockstar. Those are brands that I use that people know me by. And you'll see like basically what I'm suggesting you do, I've done for myself, because I want to make sure that people know that my stuff really works and that I own my stuff and that they can count on me taking care of them. And I haven't had any real bad reviews. In fact, I don't think I have any. But if it happens, I know that I can absorb the impact. Here's an interesting statistic, an interesting fact I learned years ago, which is another reason to make sure you're taking care of your online reputation, is even after people recommend you, after they give you a referral, say person A gives a referral to person B. Person B, the studies show that 4 out of 5 people, including person B, will still go Google and search your reputation, even though their friend, person A, suggested and told them that you were great. So all this stuff that I just mentioned becomes incredibly important because basically they're going to reaffirm that that review, that recommendation, that referral that that person A gave, is indeed true, and they should trust you, right? Um, so, further reaffirming what I've already been saying. All right, own your brand. Own your brand. This is something I suggest anybody. I don't care. It doesn't take a lot of money, even if you don't buy the domain. I would suggest you do at least $14, 10 or $12. I don't know what domains cost now, but the other stuff, the social media accounts, so it's for free. Just go lock them down. Okay. Pillar number 2 is getting online reviews. This can be a little tricky, a little time consuming, but man, if you do it and you do it right, because you're doing great work, it's really valuable. It can help you grow your business for years and years to come. So when somebody gives you a word of mouth referral, hey, you should go check this person out. You should go check Teevee out. That's a one-to-one review. That's a one-to-one communications. This person tells this person. And they're great. I highly recommend them. Obviously, you want to have good word of mouth. But what online reviews allow you to do is to have one-to-many. So that one person can talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of people when they see that review on Yelp, on Google listing, or Facebook. So they are incredibly powerful, and they can live for years and years and years. I recently got a client who found me on Yelp. Yelp is a powerful source of marketing, I suppose. I personally don't care for their ads. I don't care for much else, but because they rank well for my brand, those reviews are very useful that I got years and years ago. I guess I could share a strategy around that in a second, but you need to go out of your way, especially if you're a local business, to get your Yelp page, your Google listing, and then Facebook to make sure that it's the type of Facebook page account that allows you to get reviews. And then start asking for reviews. So kind of a quick hot tip that I had this idea years ago. I had already been in business 4, 5, 6 years, and it occurred to me, and I did this for my clients where I would help them with their online reputation, managing that and growing it. It occurred to me that I should do that for myself. And I had this, and I think this is true for a lot of businesses, even if you're just starting out. There's probably instances when you start, in many cases, for most businesses, business owners, consultants, into small entrepreneurs, you do a lot of favors for people, right? You do a lot of things for free or really cheap. I did a lot of that. And it finally occurred to me that I could ask those individuals for reviews. I did that for 2 or 3 years where I was really doing things on the cheap or free. And I decided to ask them. And it was like 40 or 50 people. So I started asking, they were under no obligation to do it for me, but I did just frame it with, hey, remember how I was able to help you back then, or I charged you really cheap? Is there any way that you could please leave me a review on, I think it was Yelp, Google? Those are my 2 primary locations. And of course, because they did appreciate what I did for them, they said, absolutely. A good number of people did. So my tip to you would be, if that was you, or that is you now, go out and ask them for reviews. That is a fair exchange for the cheap offer or the discounted services that you may be providing, because you're still trying to get your footing and get established. That could be the favor that you ask in return for that time that you give them, the expertise that you lend to that individual. Because then you can start building your online reputation and building that trust. So go do that, all right? Go ask them. So now we're going to move into the next step. How do you ask them? It's really easy. Just send them a message, send them an email, call them. That would be really good. How about calling? 1 second. Give them a call. But what I do is I just try to make it as efficient as possible. Just craft a little email or a message and say, hey, obviously customize it for them. Don't over template it. Don't copy paste too much. Making sure that it still speaks to them. And then just ask them. Most people, Have you done good work? We'll say, yes, of course I would. But I will say this, and I mentioned it earlier. People that feel like they've been done wrong are much more motivated to leave bad reviews and trash you because they're angry, they're upset. You did something wrong, and they want to make sure that the world knows that you should not be trusted. Um, where was I going with that? Please pardon me. Oh, so they're the most motivated, and they're going to go out of their way. They don't need any encouragement. The people that are you helped, you've solved their problem, you cut their hair, you whatever your service you provide, you got them home. They're they're going to go on with their life. They're too happy. You did what you're supposed to do. That's part of the deal. Why should they have to leave a review? That doesn't need to occur to them. Some people it does because they realize that you live and die by your reviews, so they're going to go out of their way. Some people are Yelpers. That's what they do. But most people are going to go on with their day, so they don't even think about it. That's why you need to ask. I love that Google now has the ability, they literally are encouraging you to share your link so you can get reviews. It used to be looked down upon. I think it used to be against their terms. I think it's against Yelp's terms still, which I think is foolish. So just for transparency, I think I haven't dealt with them recently as intensely as I did in years past. It may be against their terms to ask for reviews. However, how the heck are you supposed to get people to fill them out unless they're already adamant reviewers? Anyways, but Google does allow, they even give you a link. Hey, go ask for reviews, use this link. Um, but grab those URLs from YouTube, Facebook, not YouTube, Yelp, Facebook, and Google, or whatever platforms you choose to collect reviews on. The thing about choices, you need to find out where people are at. Because when you craft that message, you should ask them, hey, it will really help, appreciate it. It would go a long way towards growing my business. Could you please leave me a review? And if you have, say, those three links, have the links to where they can go specifically to leave a review. And then maybe even say something along the lines of, if you could leave a review wherever you feel most comfortable or where you have an account already, that would, try to make this as simple for you. Obviously, massage that message a little better. I'm just talking off the cuff right now. And then send it. Like I said, most people, my experience has been, most people will respond, say absolutely. Some people will ignore you because they're too busy and they don't want to be bothered. But most people will say yes. Now, you need to nudge them. The fact remains that they are busy. We're living our lives, we're doing our thing, and they're going to need to be nudged. So send a follow-up message, especially if they said yes, I would definitely do it. And then send them a follow-up. Hey, by any chance, have you had an opportunity to leave a review? A nice little trick would be to say, acknowledge the situation. I know this is, I'm sure you're busy, blah, blah, blah. I hate to be a nuisance, but it really would help. Could you, I'm just wanting to see if you were able to post that review. I really feel like I'm whispering, but my ears are just messing with me. Anyways, I'm sorry if this comes out a little. It seems like the microphone levels are good though. But you're gonna have to nudge them. I would say nudge, remind them 2 or 3 times, and after which point in time, if they don't leave it by then, I personally just stop. I don't want to be annoying either, but I will leave it alone. Hopefully, out of this, by the time you're done, if you ask 10 people, you have 3 or 4 reviews, and I would consider that a success. Because now you have 3 or 4 reviews that you didn't have before, and they're going to help you grow because they're going to stay there, right? Um, Going back to the story about when I did that very same thing years ago. I didn't have a group, Google listed because I had problems with them. My Yelp, man, I had like 35 or 40 reviews. I think I had 50 reviews total because of the way Yelp works, and same thing with Google to some extent, they have filters. So I ended up having live reviews, maybe 35 at one point out of 50 or 60, which is still a great number because at that point, and still today, it's the most reviews of any marketer in Dallas. If you were to search Dallas marketer, Dallas SEO, that kind of stuff, my listing would show up and I would have the most reviews. So that gives you credibility. That gives you people who give you the benefit of the doubt and trust you. And this strategy is specific to local businesses, obviously. Yelp, having a Yelp page. But because of their filters, a bunch of them got thrown out. And over the years, I think I just Googled it. I think I'm at 17. That's still more than most people. But their filter, for some reason, feels that they are no longer relevant or they may be fake. Who knows? The way it works is tricky. I'm not big on Yelp. But get reviews there. And you are going to have to, especially with Yelp, you're going to have to get a bunch in there. I call it flooding the system. Um, I'm sure if I were to push more people to go to Yelp and leave me a review there, maybe it pushes out more of the others out because it has been kind of dormant for years. I haven't done much with Yelp in years. I've been really focusing on Facebook, especially now with the relaunch of the brand. But you are going to have to play that game of having more reviews. Something to be aware of, especially with Yelp. If you ask that person to leave a review and they only have a Yelp review account and they create it and it has no picture, and then you are their first review, more than likely your review will get filtered. That's just a fact. Not 100% of the time, but a good percentage of the time. Just so you know. So that's how you would get reviews, is by asking and reminding, having that already mindset that you're going to have to go back to them, and then also being cool with the fact that most of them are not going to do it. But it is a request. They've paid you, you've fulfilled on your obligation to fulfill on yours. Anything above that is too much. Have them answer these questions if within the review. Especially once they're like, what do you want me to say? A lot of people will do that. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Da, da, da. So these are the 3 questions you can have them answer. Excuse me. Number 1, what was your problem before coming to you? And now I will also say this is all hinging on the fact that they're private. It's not something intimately private. It's not something to do with their health that they don't want to share or legal. If you're within those realms, then obviously you have to walk a much more fine line, and I'll let you make that decision for yourself. But number 1, what's your problem before coming to you? Number 2, what objections did they have when they were trying to choose you, trying to figure out whether to choose you? And number 3, what were the results? And the reason these are important is because you want to address objections that other people will have, because the facts are, if they have those objections, other people will have them as well. So if you're able to address them within the testimonial, within that review, you will help convert more people that are checking you out, reading that review, and they will see themselves in that person, because chances are that they look like them, think like them, act like them, maybe have the same problems and have the same objections. So have them answer those questions. And chances are I've had people that will read the reviews and like, oh my goodness, that person wrote this thing and that's exactly what I was having an issue with, or those were my objections or my thoughts, my problems. And you will find that at the end of the day, you're going to find that not all reviews are the same. You need to, because most people want to leave reviews along the lines of, he was great, ha ha ha. No, sorry, not ha ha. He was great. He was amazing. I recommend him. And that's good, but that's not as useful as one that answers these questions, okay? So do that. Now, bonus points, if you have an office, if you have someone that's incredibly motivated, or just a location where you can do this, and people are really motivated, because you'll have 1 or 2, they're like, I'll do whatever you want. Ask them to record a video. Set aside some time, get a camera, get your iPhone. It doesn't have to be flashy. It doesn't have to be high production, but record a video of them leading that review, saying and answering those questions. Those go a long way, especially if you're able to put a face to it. People will lend more credibility to those reviews than others than they would others. Okay. Here we go. We're almost wrapping it up. So get those video reviews. Next, as far you have a website, great. Make sure the on-site SEO has your brand name in it. So what that means is make sure that it does, like for home, on your site, there's things that you can change, the on-site SEO, search engine optimization. Make sure those elements speak to your brand. In many cases, if that's not done, it'll be like your home page will be, say, home, or it'll say maybe your business, and that's common. but make sure that that's in place. Feel free to go to YouTube and Google that for specifics around that. Um, Lastly, create content with your brand name in the title and the actual body. So what does that mean? Like literally create a blog post, create a YouTube video, create a Facebook page. Make sure your Facebook page name is your brand name, but create content with that in it. So create specifically back to the blog post, something that says maybe like who is Teevee the marketer, or behind behind the Teevee the marketer brand, something that has it in there, or then has it in the actual content. YouTube videos are really good. I personally will just include it in the headline, like a subject of the video plus Teevee the marketer by Teevee the marketer. And I've done enough of that to where I'm going to stop doing it, because I just want to make it a cleaner title. But you do enough of that, and you're going to find that those videos, that content is going to rise to the top in Google. Okay. Also, videos and the blog posts. Make sure you have the keywords and tags. Keywords within your blog posts if you're using WordPress or anything similar to that, and tags in your videos. You can add tags there. Make sure it's your brand. Been doing that for the last 3 or 4 months, and that's the reason that many of my videos also show up for my brand. Do that, and you will absolutely be able to dominate for your brand name and create trust online. You're trying to nurture that trust, and we're also trying to amplify the good work that you've done, which leads me to my last point. Be good to people. Do them right. Do what you promised you're going to do them when they brought you on, what they paid you for, what they're giving you when they're giving their time to you. Do good work. It's incredibly important. If you do that, then even if you were to do only a small percentage of what I suggested, you should be fine. I'm always reminded of this quote by Warren Buffett, and I love it, and it says, I find it to be true. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Remember that. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Obviously, this is a quote, but I think that the message is clear and it is true. It won't take very long for you to ruin your reputation. I've witnessed and unfortunately seen way too many people do that very same thing. We live in a crazy world that if you do something bad, they're eager to amplify that and put that out into the world. And maybe you're doing good work, but if you're not owning your brand, you're going to lose a lot of business and your reputation. Protect it. That's what allows you to grow moving into the future. Okay? That's our show for today. Like I said, I'm actually curious what this is going to sound like, because everything is distorted in my ears right now. I thank you for watching. I look forward to next week's episode. Feel free to send us your questions if you have any. I would love to answer them on the show, or message me directly if you have any questions. My name is Teevee the Marketer, and remember, if you're not marketing effectively and consistently, are you really in business? Have a great day. I appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.